We just got a new report about Doctor Doom in the MCU, specifically about his origin. And I must say, if these reports are true, it's starting to make the movie and other reports actually make a lot of sense, specifically talking about the opening and the beginning of the movie. Some events that we have had reports about already, they're starting to make a lot more sense if we look at this new report. What is going on, Cosmic Crew? Thanks for stopping by the channel today. Guess what universe Doctor Doom is from? What universe do you want him to be from? Because I personally wanted him to be from the 828 universe, and according to a couple of different reports now, that is the case. Doctor Doom is from the 828 universe, where the Fantastic Four are from. They hinted at this heavily in the Fantastic Four First Steps by showing us an empty seat for Latveria. They showed us this twice, and that was no mistake. It wasn't just to give us a little Easter egg. I had a feeling it was very important at the time. I had a feeling we might see Doom at the time. I was wrong about that, but they did show us that seat for Latveria. And there's a very specific purpose that they are making Doctor Doom from that 828 universe. And it has to do with a lot that's going to happen in the beginning of the movie, not the specific opening scene, because we've been talking a bit about that recently. The opening scene is reportedly Tobey Maguire's universe and the X-Men universe. So we're not talking about the very first opening scene, but what happens in the beginning with Doctor Doom, with the Fantastic Four, with Thor, with Captain America, Steve Rogers, that is, and with all of them going to the 616 universe. We're about to dive into that. This report, it's actually coming from two different insiders. But this one is very interesting. This one is coming from Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert has been in the industry for a very long time. He is now with John Campea on the John Campea show. I think a lot of people know him. A lot of people really like the show and him. From my understanding, both him and John Campea got a lot of information about the movie from different sources separately. And then the two of them came together, shared with each other what they heard, and all of the information was the same. I believe that is the case. That is what they said on their show. So it seems like they do know a lot about the movie at this point in time. So Robert said this: Avengers Doomsday. In Avengers Doomsday, Sue Storm and Reed Richards already know Doctor Doom. When he appears in the Baxter building to see Franklin, Sue is not surprised to see him as they are friends. Now, some people are kind of questioning that last sentence. They are friends. Because some people are saying like Reed and Doom would never be friends. Well, they could, but I specifically think he is talking about, again, specifically Sue and Doom. We've heard a lot of reports that Doom actually goes to the Fantastic Four to tell them that the multiverse is collapsing and basically tells them, hey, I need your help. And by the way, our universe is actually about to be destroyed. This does line up with some other reports that we've heard in the past as well. Some say that Doom's universe was destroyed by an incursion that Steve Rogers caused. I still think this is possible, but I don't think it's the 828 universe. I have a good theory about how Doom could be from the 828 universe, but could have actually sort of ruled in another universe, but we'll get to that in just a bit. Let's go over this next part. This was from Majestic, and it came actually about a week and a half ago. They state, the insider Majestic, as several people have said, Doctor Doom comes from 828. Reed Richards and Victor Von Doom already know each other. They worked together on an experiment that blended magic and science. The project fails, resulting in the death of Doom's family and leaving him severely disfigured. Doom blames Reed and swears revenge. This will be exploited in Secret Wars. Despite his hatred, Doom contacts the Fantastic Four regarding the incursions. They travel together to Earth 616, identified as the origin of the multiversal collapse, and then to the X-Men universe to prevent the mutant universe from destroying their own. And then they basically say, then there's the confrontation between the Fantastic Four and Avengers, the Avengers and the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, and we get all the battles, basically, that we've been hearing about. Alan Cumming talking about fighting Mr. Fantastic, all of the battles that we've been hearing about, and plus we saw with the Avengers Doomsday X-Men trailer. This is really important. It's really important for Doom's origin story, especially moving forward, not just in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, but after, because we know that this Fantastic Four is going to be the official Fantastic Four team moving forward after Secret Wars. If they cast a new Doom that is not Robert Downey Jr., you have a continuity error, because that Doom clearly, most likely, they'd have to really just retcon it in a crazy way, wouldn't have any connection to our Fantastic Four. But we've been hearing rumors that Robert Downey Jr. might keep playing Doom after Secret Wars and stay Doom in the MCU. That would work if he were actually connected to the Fantastic Four in the 828 universe. We heard a lot of reports that Doom was from another universe and that he had a family. But due to an incursion, his universe was destroyed. I have a theory about how this could still happen, yet he be from the 828 universe still. I'll talk about that in just a bit, but first, big thank you to Uber Eats for sponsoring this video. Honestly, I think I've used Uber Eats almost every single day of the new year so far. I am locked in to the new year with a lot of exciting projects I'm working on, and my days are really busy trying to make these projects great for you all. So Uber Eats has literally been a lifesaver for me, saving me so much time and stress. It's not just about getting food delivered, it's about making my day effortless. A lot of the time, it's really hard to take time to go out and make a meal or take the time to cook, especially when I'm filming so much content. That's why Uber Eats is a lifesaver for me. I can just open up the app, browse through hundreds of local spots, and get exactly what I want with just a few taps. I can track my order as well, so I know exactly when my food will be at my doorstep. Being able to see exactly where the courier is makes the whole process stress-free. Plus, I'm always checking the app for new daily deals, which is a huge bonus. So if you want to make your days a little easier, discover new deals every day, and order from hundreds of restaurants on Uber Eats, click the link in my description or scan the QR code on screen and use code COSMIC15 to get $15 off your first order with a minimum basket size of $20. So here's how and why this works. It works that Doctor Doom is from the 828 universe because he has all of the history with Reed. He goes to college with Reed. His backstory is pretty much, I'm hoping, the same, with his mother dying, her making the deal with Mephisto, his father dying, him going to America, him getting expelled for building that machine that ends up exploding and scarring his face. And in the comics, Dr. Doom warns him, Reed Richard warns him about that. And, he's always pissed at Reed. And the device was used or built for him to try and communicate with his mother in the Hell Dimension after she died. So it explodes, scars his face. He goes back. He does a lot. Goes to the monks, gets his suit, becomes Dr. Doom, rules Latveria. That's where kind of they are at, plus a little bit into the future in the 828 universe. They had that slot for Latveria. Doom was not there. I believe Doom was not there because he was off universe. Here's how I think it all connects together. I think we get all of the backstory with the Fantastic Four, with Reed Richards and Dr. Doom. I think Dr. Doom only really doesn't like Reed. I think he probably liked Sue. And when I say liked, I mean I think he liked her, because we heard a report that in a different universe, Dr. Doom was actually happy and he had a family. His family was Sue Storm and they had a son. Now that could be because in the 828 universe, he could not have Sue, but then he figured out multiversal travel and he left. And he went to a different universe and he found a different Sue and they got married, they had a kid, and they kind of ruled wherever they were at. That is a report that we've heard, and I think that is a way for this to make sense, because clearly Doom was not there during the events of the Fantastic Four First Steps. They made sure to show us that. That's the biggest thing. They showed us twice that empty seat for Latveria. So they were specifically telling us, hey, we know who the ruler of Latveria is. It's Doom. He's not here. He's doing something else. And you have to imagine, when the fate of your world is at hand and you're someone as powerful as Dr. Doom and someone who wants control as much as Dr. Doom, you'd be there. You'd definitely be at the Fantastic Four's door, especially if you had a history with them. You would be there and you would be kind of yelling at Reed, and trying to help in your own way, right? You'd want to handle it yourself. Dr. Doom would want to handle that himself. So I think this is a way that both could work really, really well. Him being from the 828 universe, but not actually being there. He could have went to a different universe, because I also think he's going to get a lot of Kang's story. And in the comics, Kang, he is from way into the future, right? And he discovers a time travel device. He doesn't create it, he discovers it, and then he kind of tinkers with it, right? He lives in a time where time travel is actually not allowed anymore. But he finds a device, goes back in time, keeps going through different times. The Fantastic Four thwart him, and that's how Kang originally starts to hate the Fantastic Four. But this is very different. I think Doom is going to get a lot of that backstory where Reed was working on like space travel and such. Doom was working on time and multiversal travel, because remember, Reed only just figured out how to teleport things, right? Doom, I think, is very far ahead. And I think the reason he's very far ahead is because Reed warned him not to do that, right? That typically happens. Reed warns Doom not to do things. He does things and stuff goes wrong. So in this case, I think Doom actually ends up figuring it out and he leaves and he just goes to this whole other universe where he has his family. Time is also relative here because he could be gone for years or he could be gone just for a second in the 828 universe. Because time's going to work. I hope they really kind of lay the rules down for multiverse travel and time travel in Avengers Doomsday, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But it's really important that they have this backstory, and it also explains a lot of the reports that we've been hearing that Doctor Doom does go to the Fantastic Four and says, hey, the multiverse is being destroyed. We got to fix it. It makes sense if he knows them from before. If he doesn't know them from before, it doesn't make sense for him to just show up and kind of ask for their help. I guess he could sense the power of Franklin, but he would have to be on that Earth to sense the power of Franklin, right? Otherwise, him sensing that from anywhere in the multiverse would be pretty hard, unless he was already at the Library of Worlds and he could see this happening, which could be the case. But again, it's important for him and Reed to have that backstory. And Sue as well. I think him and Sue are friends. So I think he ends up going to the 828 universe. He returns to it. Sue sees him, and then I think Sue lets her guard down, right? She doesn't know who's there at first. She hears like the teleporter go off. It's like the TVA teleporter, the one that Mr. Fantastic from Multiverse of Madness had. You can hear it if you listen very carefully to that scene. And then she doesn't see him at first, which is why she has her guard up. But I think what they're going to show us is once she sees that it's Doom, that it's Victor, she puts her guard down and says, oh, hey, you know, it's Victor. What the hell are you doing here? Like, why did you teleport into my house? We're friends, but why the hell did you teleport into my house? And I think he sees Franklin and he might see his own child that he had. And that's why he's sitting there. And that's why Franklin's touching his face. Franklin could be healing his face. We've heard that theory a lot. Franklin very well could be healing Dr. Doom's face. But from there, I think we get what most of the insiders have been talking about. And now it makes sense. Dr. Doom already knows the Fantastic Four, so he's not viewed as a villain by them, right? And that is also how he could get Captain America and Thor on board that Fantastic Four ship, because according to reports, in the Thunderbolts post-credit scene, that Fantastic Four ship that we saw, it's not just the Fantastic Four on it, but it's also Doom, Thor, and Steve Rogers. That's coming from the insider My Time to Shine Low. So this would explain how Doom could get all of these people together. He is the good guy trying to save the multiverse, going to people for help. And then they track down the start of the incursion, or the core of the incursion, right? And that is the Earth 616 universe, which also makes sense because, our characters from our universe have been doing some stuff that have caused incursions. I mean, they already told us that in Multiverse of Madness. Doctor Strange did that, and I'm sure he did that probably to more than one universe based on all the events that happened in Multiverse of Madness. Wanda is also responsible, whether she's dead or alive right now. I really hope they tell us something with that. But we also have Peter Parker. Stuff's happened in our universe. It doesn't surprise me that ours would kind of be at the center of everything that is happening. Monica Rambeau left our universe, not on purpose, but she did, and she's in the X-Men universe. That could pull the X-Men universe to our universe. There's a lot that really starts to make sense if you piece it all together, but I do think it makes just so much sense for Doom to be from the 828 universe. That way, if this Fantastic Four team is the new team for the future of the MCU, which we basically know they are, it makes sense for Robert Downey Jr. to continue to play Doom in the future as well, to keep that connection between Doom and Reed Richards. It also makes sense for the story because when they finally do realize that Doom is the villain and he turns against everybody, they're going to want to know about his backstory, everybody else's, and Reed and Sue are going to be able to tell them about his backstory, about who he was. Right? So Reed will say, we went to college together, and Sue will say, you know, he was always kind of nice, but, you know, he liked me. Him and Reed never got along. Stuff like that. Like basically how Gamora told everybody about Thanos in Avengers Infinity War. It'll basically be Reed and Sue telling everybody about Doctor Doom in Avengers Doomsday. And then, of course, I think Doom will do some monologue and they'll show his backstory as well, showing his perspective of the multiverse and it being destroyed. Probably if he does go to another universe and kind of hangs out there for a while, has his own life and family, he'll definitely tell us his perspective from there and why he's kind of out for revenge or to control the multiverse the way he sees it to be fit. Like the only way it could work is probably Doom's way in Doom's mind. So I think this makes a ton of sense. And this is actually what I've been wanting. I think this solves that big problem of the backstory between Reed and Doom, because I think that has to be there. It's such a crucial part of both of their stories in the comics. I really think this is the right way to go. I hope these reports are accurate, but go ahead, let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. And do you think, even if he is from the 828 universe, did he go to another universe and get his way there? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest MCU news and, of course, Avengers Doomsday. You can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.